conversation, let's go and talk about it. Let's dive into it. Has been the dual overhead cam engine that Dodge is potentially coming out with. And my last video was saying that, you know, maybe it would be a good thing that they kind of copy the ideas of Ford when Ford sat here and went from their previous engine and they put the dual overhead cam engine into things like my Dark Horse that I'm sitting in here now. But on paper, you know, when we're looking at it, we're so excited that the V8s are actually coming back. You know, when Tim came in and announced that the SRT, you know, line is back, we're so focused on, thank God, that the V8s aren't dead. But is it really they're trying to bamboozle us, backed in a corner, and they have to sit here and sell something and package it beautifully for us to bite it so that they can get out of the shit? And let's talk about it. Think about it. If we blindly celebrate the high-tech small displacement 5.2 liter V8, I think we're falling into the same exact corporate trip that a lot of my subscribers are saying, you know, going from a push rod to this dual overhead cam, it's going to take the low end torque out of it. And the true purist or the muscle car enthusiast, again, is going to be left without that feeling of a true muscle car. And I can attest for that. Okay. Coming from a Hellcat, impulsively, I decided to buy this Dark Horse. And don't get me wrong. I think, you know, the Hellcat, the Dark Horse, the Corvettes, they all bring different things based on their engines. And that is why we have different classes of car people, right? But if you have sat in a Mopar, despite your feelings, you cannot discredit that Hemi engine, okay? You can't discredit that low-end torque. It's something, specifically if you take it to a drag race or a drag strip, it's a feeling that you just cannot describe. And once you get to that high, you're always chasing that horsepower, okay? So I can truly attest to that. I can say, coming from my Hellcat, I couldn't find what was the disconnect from me and this vehicle. All right, I'm going to get out of the car. I'm going to pop my hood and I'm just going to go and show you. When Ford introduced the 5-liter, the Coyote, to replace the old push rod V8s, again, just like Dodge is trying to do, it was hailed as the high-tech masterpiece, revs to the moon, makes great peak horsepower. And it loves boost, right? So again, when you're pulling it up to the high RPMs, getting around that 7,000, I mean, the Coyote is going to scream, okay? But from an old school hot rod perspective, it's a packaging nightmare. It lacks the low end torque that, again, we're all used to seeing. If you're looking at it and putting in perspective, it has 4 camshafts, 32 valves sitting on top of the block, right? And it's physically, it's massive. It's taller than the classic, when we're looking at it, the Ford 460 big block. Yet, despite being it so big and massive, it only displaces a modest, 302 cubic inches on the inside. Now, because the cylinder heads are so wide, Ford engineers, they had to keep the engine block itself narrow so that they could physically fit it in the car. And I think now, if Dodge really sits back and plays this smart, okay, so we still think there is a chance that Dodge could play this smart. But that STLA platform that I was telling you guys about, and you guys all know about, this will allow Dodge, if they're smart, to be able to structurally engineer whatever engine that they want to play with that it can fit in the car, because this is going to give them a little wiggle room, right? But go back with Ford. So in order for them to be able to do this dual overhead cam, they had to shrink the cylinder bore diameters down to, I think, about, when I was reading, like 92 millimeters, like that. So when you have a small bore, you're forced to run smaller valves. You lose that feel, that low end torque. And honestly, that is now I'm understanding the mechanisms or the mechanics behind an engine. And that is why there's a disconnect between me coming out of a Mopar. Again, I'm not saying that the Dark Horse is not something to enjoy, but you don't get that low end torque. And what am I saying? So to make this Coyote scream, and again, I can attest to all of this, okay? Everyday driving and you're getting your Coyote and you're just, you know, about 3,500 RPMs, you don't feel shit. The downside to owning a car like this, because it's not like I can just go down the street, punch this shit, get it up on the street to 125. Now, I mean, maybe there are some people that do that, you know, but again, you have to make this Coyote scream. It's not compared to the old school, you know, when you're looking at the pushrod motors, like the 351 Windsor when I was looking at it, or even the 5.7 Hemi, okay? To get this Coyote going, you have to get this about 7,000 RPM to hear this bad boy screaming and to actually feel it. And I can, you know, like I said, I can attest to that. So again, whole different beast when you hit this bad boy above 130. I mean, you actually love to be sitting in the driver's seat, right? But just driving it daily, you don't feel that. You're missing that. Now with the Hellcat and these vehicles that had the pushrod, the low end torque, you could feel that automatically. I'm not saying maybe Dodge is banking on the fact that, you know, the newer or the younger people will like it, because a lot of people like Mustangs and they like these newer Mustangs for what they are. So maybe there is a fit for that. But the true American muscle people, and I'm learning that even in myself, I think that is the disconnect. Now, to play devil's advocate a little bit, okay? So I'm always trying to look at the pros and cons, because I don't want to come up here and feel like I'm bashing any particular company, because again, I have the luxury to have each one, okay? But really, Ford must have thought about that too, because they got rid of the whole dual overhead cam, you know, engine complexity, and they went, you know, and they put that 7.3 liter, the Godzilla V8 in their heavy duty trucks. Okay. And when you went back to that simple, compact, that pushrod design, it allows them again to carve out a massive 107 millimeter bore. Okay. So if we're looking at it from that perspective, Ford technically should be putting the Godzilla architecture into the Mustang. They can optimize it with 106. And again, I'm learning all this, but you know, the thing that when reading, if you put 106 millimeter bore, and then you destroke it. So I think one of the commenters were saying, you know, to like 93 millimeters, it would give you an incredible strong 6.6 liter pushrod motor engine that makes effortlessly the low end torque that we all love. Okay. So now understanding the mechanics to it, you don't want to sit here and take away something and try to sell something that ultimately you're not going to get the thrill. Okay. Now, again, I think that Dodge, you can build a dual overhead cam engine the right way. But again, instead of focusing like Ford did, now we're going to sit here and think about how GM did it. Okay. And you think about their 5.5 liter, their LT6 V8 inside the C8 Corvette, the Z06. All right. When you look at it from that point, GM didn't compromise on the cylinder size. So by not compromising, they literally took their inspiration from the big bore 7 liter LS7 pushrod engine. Okay. So you're not downsizing, but you're actually looking at the legendary, the big boys, and figuring out how you can manipulate, destroke, how you can do things like that. So this is what I'm saying, and that's going to make me, I have another video too, because I think I realized what I'm going to do with my Corvette too, but we'll talk about that. But like I was saying, if, you know, like they did, if you keep a massive bore size, so if you're thinking about maybe, I think when I was reading, they were talking about maybe 104 millimeter bore, you can match it with a super short 80 millimeter stroke. Okay, it's just like riding a bicycle, and it's it's basically delivering the perfect destroking concept. I bring this home with Dodge and their designs. If you take an old 6.1 liter Hemi block, or even a modulated like a Viper block, and it has that massive bore width, you pair that with a short stroke crankshaft. Bottom line is, you know, we as consumers, we can't let the automakers dictate to us. And I think that what they're trying to do is put a bow on something. Just like I said, too, I don't think that they need to come out with the old school Hemi. I think they do need to revamp it, but they have to be smart in revamping. So you cannot go backwards. Just think that's where these automakers are thinking that we're stupid. And honestly, we're allowing them the power to be able to manipulate us into thinking that we are getting something, when in fact, they're just being smart how to actually come up with something that's not the same. Let me know. I will talk to you guys in another video. Peace.